Hey, this is Pete with BananaHobby.com. In the next few minutes, I'm going to run you through what is called a bind process. Many of the radios that come with our aircrafts and our products nowadays come on what's called 2.4 gigahertz. In the event that you need to rebind your transmitter to your receiver, these are the steps to take in order to rebind your transmitter and receiver. What that means is getting your transmitter to read the signal coming from your receiver so that your product communicates together. We have various transmitters laid out here from all of our different products. So what I'm going to do is run each individual 2.4 gigahertz transmitter and its bind process in a closer view for you guys, so you guys can use this video as a tutorial on how to rebind your 2.4 radios. Most of these will be made by either Blitz RC Works, Topfire, or Artec. And keep in mind, when you guys get your receivers inside the aircrafts, the antennas are usually pretty short. Some of them are extremely short, 1.5 inches. That's normal. They are not on FM anymore, so there's no long antenna. They are very short. They're self-contained, so they're inside the aircraft. The antenna doesn't need to be outside or anything like that. They can come with a little antenna as an inch long here, or some, like the Topfire, will come with one receiver with a little bit longer antenna and then a satellite receiver that's got another antenna on it. Different variations of these radios have different receivers, so all of them function the same. The bind process will be different, so I'm going to run you guys through what these bind processes are, one radio at a time. Alright, this is your bind process for the Blitz RC Works transmitters and or your Artec transmitters. They are going to be named your E-Fly system, and they may look like this right here, which is by Artec, or Blitz RC Works, which will have the same exact look. And it'll be this one right here, which is, there is, let's see, there's no model number on here, so this is the E-Fly system or the Artec system that looks like this right here. This is the 4-channel system, and or the Blitz RC or Artec system, most likely Blitz RC, the 6-channel system that looks like this. And these are basically your 2.4 6-channel system from Artec and from Blitz RC, and or it can look like this right here. Okay, so it's any one of these 3 radio systems. All 3 of these bind processes are completely the same, and all 3 of these, you'll note that there is a bind mode button and a work mode button here on this transmitter, and on this transmitter the bind and work mode button is back here. Okay, and on this one, which is probably the most common one, the bind and work mode button is right here. It's on the corner right here. Okay, the bind process are very simple. Within a couple of steps, it'll get you guys flying again. Once in a while, they come unbinded. Don't know why that happens, but once in a while, we need to rebind, and this is what this video is for. Before you go ahead and bind your aircraft, you want to make sure always that your throttle stick is always set to the lowest position in that mode there, in case that if you do in fact that once it binded, if it's in the anything but lower position of the throttle, it may take off on you, and we don't want that to happen. And these are the receivers that you'll be binding, which is the Blitz RC Works and or Artec 6-channel, the ER61 2.4. That can vary a little bit, but that's what they look like. That's how we bind it. And included with your system here, you will have what's called a bind plug, which looks like this. Okay, and the bind plug is what we need to plug into the receiver to go ahead and have it rebinded. And what I've done here is I have some electronics from an aircraft laid out on the table for you here to give you guys a little bit of a visual idea of what's going on when you guys rebind. Alright, so what we're going to do here is, remember, right now your aircraft is unplugged and the transmitter is off. Nothing is on right now. Okay, so what we're going to do here is make sure your throttle, which is your ESC, is plugged into the throttle channel labeled on the receiver here. That's labeled THRO, and which you don't have to really worry about. Most of the time, or all the time, it's going to be already plugged in as well. If not, you make sure that the ESC, which is that unit that goes to the speed control that goes to the motor, is plugged into the throttle channel. Note that there's a little signal window on this little receiver here. It's a little LED in here. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so once that's plugged in there, what you want to do is you want to take the bind plug and go to the all the way top port on the receiver here. The highest top port is labeled BATT, as in battery, short for battery, so it's BATT. We're going to go ahead and plug the bind plug, no up and down orientation. Usually I keep the copper terminals up, just like all the rest that's plugged into here. You want to plug that into the BATT channel. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. The bind plug into the BATT channel. Okay, that's plugged in. It's ready to go. Let me plug in a couple of mock servos here so you can get a visual idea that everything is working. Okay, so once that is plugged in here, we're going to set that down. That'll be like, basically, that's in your aircraft. Okay, everything is off, throttle, lowest position. Okay, what we're going to do now is plug the battery source, LiPo, into your aircraft. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. Okay, and the first thing that's going to happen is, on this particular receiver, you will see there is a little red flashing LED inside the signal port right here. Once you see that flashing right there, it is in bind mode and it's ready to go. Next steps are extremely simple. On your transmitter here, everything's off. There's a work mode, bind mode. When it's flush with the radio here, it's in work mode. So what we're going to do now is we're going to push the button into bind mode, and it'll depress and stay there. Same thing with this radio and this radio. Just this one's in the back, this one's in the front. So the same exact thing. So once that is pressed into bind mode, we're going to go ahead and turn the transmitter on. And you'll notice that the LED on the transmitter comes on green. Once that comes on here, the red LED that is on the receiver here will go out. It goes dark. It goes completely dark. So this goes out here. Once you see that happen, all you got to do is remove the bind plug. Okay, so we're going to pull the bind plug out. You got the bind plug. Keep that somewhere so you don't lose it. And then go to the button on here, the button on the transmitter here, and we're going to go ahead and unpress it. And that's it. And you are binded and ready to go. And you'll hear a initiating tone coming from the motor saying that everything is reading and ready to go. And when you go back to the receiver itself, you will note that the light on the receiver is solid red. Okay, that means you are communicating and you're game on and go fly. So now everything is ready to go. As you can see here, if I wiggle the sticks, we have servo movement, and throttle up here, we have throttle. And you're good to go. Once again, that's your bind process for the Blitz RC Works Artec series of 2.4 gigahertz radio systems. And that's pretty much it, and you're ready to go. Keep in mind, when you go to shut it off, always unplug the aircraft first, okay? And then shut your transmitter off. And when you go to power on, always power on the transmitter first, and then and then plug in your aircraft. This way, the bind process will never really disengage again. All right, guys. This is your bind process, and happy flying.